At PeerSpot, we facilitate awesome conversations between curious, creative, and intellectual minds. We did 10 awesome Facebook Live sessions, and we converse with the with variety of people belonging to Indian classical music, museology, geopolitics, and this such diverse fields. For the first time, this is our first Instagram Live with PeerSpot, and we feel really awesome. Hosting such kind of conversations, we wish to demonstrate what kind of learning you can derive, what kind of experience you can build through such conversations. They'll provide you great insights and a sense of delight. Thank you so much for joining us in this amazing session. It feels really great when we engage with people like Ankit ji, who are focused, consistent, and are addressing very unique perspectives on very sturdy idea. So, I mean, let us begin our conversation. This is all about the legacy of Indian monuments. Well, palaces, step walls, caves, matha, samadhi, dwara, these all form part of monuments. But the most fascinating ones are the Indian Hindu temples. In today's conversation, we shall talk about the lesser known but great monuments gifted by pre-Moghal era empires and dynasties such as Gupta Empire, Venkata Empire, Pallava Empire, Vijayanagara Empire, Chola dynasty. Basically Hindu temples are found in diverse locations. In the stanzas, in the forest, on typical Hindu has a platitude of art. It encompasses paintings and sculptures, symbolic icons to engravings, and the thoughtful layout of spaces to the fusion of mathematical principles cohesively knitted with Hindu sense of time and cardinality. Today we are glad to host Ankit Mishra ji. He is basically a student of political science and history. He is an avid of Indian heritage. He runs Instagram's Indian Talkies account. I believe people know Ankit ji more than possibly anyone in this space would be knowing. He frequently posts his thoughts on his contributions, his thoughts on Indian culture, monuments, heritage, the archaeology, the Sanatan Dharma. You may find him on @Indian Talkies. We have shared this. We will share the link of his account in the comment soon. We'll also, or otherwise you may visit his profile. He has mentioned his link. If you wish his work really interesting, you may consider to contribute and support him. Ankit ji is an awesome person. You may meet him on Instagram, on PeerSpot. So let us begin, Ankit ji, and we welcome you all once again for the first episode of Instagram Live with PeerSpot. So Ankit ji, in India, temples are it's not just a place of worship. It's beyond that. Basically, it's a confluence of art, education, and societal values. These are the things that flourish in the premises of Indian Hindu temple, right? So would love to know your thoughts on importance of temples in Indian societies.
Thank you, sir, first of all, for inviting me here in your first Instagram Live. I have been getting your support from the starting of my journey. This small journey have been very supported by you, by the PeerSpot only. And coming to your question, as the temples as a place of worship. A temple is not merely a place of worship. We should consider it as more of a social and cultural place of the Indian society, because mandir, when we say mandir, the word mandir comes from Sanskrit, as we know that man is self-consciousness, and there is a dwelling place, a place where it exists. So the mandir, the temple, is a place where our self-consciousness, a place where our self-consciousness dwell, where we keep everything materialistic aside, and we go there for our self-consciousness. And
right.
when we will move further in our conversation, we will talk about the architecture of temple, and we will see how it is connected to the self-consciousness, to the ultimate superior God, to the ultimate supreme personal, supreme philosophy. So
Right.
Mandir, and coming to your society, the point where you mentioned that it is a place of art, culture, society. In ancient India, there were a number of temples where you can see cultural activities took place. Like there were festivals, a number of Hindu festivals, and not only festivals, there were libraries, there were hospitals, and there were also refuge. Refuge, they provided, temples provided refuge in case of political unrest. So it acted as a wholesome of a society. There was no such thing that temple did not. So I was telling that apart from festivals, there are so many things that a temple participates in. Like it acts as a hospital, it acts as a refuge for in case of political unrest. It feeds
Right.
people. It acts as a school. It acts as a library. There are inscriptions when where there is a proper mention that the temples acted as a preserver of the manuscripts dating
Yes.
back to 6th century BCE. And the Brihadeshwar temple, there is an inscription which mentions that they employed 600 personals in Brihadeshwar temple. So it clearly suggests that the temples were basically a center of economic activity as well for the society. Not only as an artistic way, not only in cultural way, it also acted as a base for economic activity in the society. It also granted funds to people. It also acted as a so where the land, it also happened to be the owner of some land granted by the merchant, you see, the kings of that particular area. So they distributed land according to the done by the. So there was many different that temple participated in, which you can see it as an integral part of Hindu society, or we say Indian society.
Uh, yeah. So this gives really, very interesting stepping stone towards entering into this conversation, the importance of temples in the Hindu societies. While in the
Right.
Vedic era, learned people have written a lot about the Shilpakala. So basically, it was such a vast subject that there used to be Gurukul. They used to teach typically how the Silp Shastra is all about, and there are evidences where the students used to spare anything between 4 to 12 years in imparting in learning this kala. So it is very difficult to summarize things in a nutshell. However, considering the the fascinating heritage we all have, right? It would be interesting to know about the architectural aspects of uh, these temples. So, how about you shared such interesting aspects? You pick up any one temple, and if you can share holistic aspect of architectural aspects, and how during the course of progression of society, what kind of values they impart, what kind of roles they played, and how they become an important element even in shaping up the society.
Sure, sir. First of all, the architecture of temple. The architecture of temple was very well planned. As you said that there are agamic shastras written all about the architecture of temples. So in that scripture, you will find that the architecture of temple that we are talking about is mainly based on the philosophy of Purusha. The Purusha is the supreme personal, the supreme God. And when we
Mhm,
say Aham
mhm,
Brahmasmi, that means that I am the part of universe, and whatever is happening inside me is happening in the universe too.
mhm.
So I am a part of universe too. So
Yes.
it is basically like saying that I am God, and God is a part of me. Aham
Yes.
Brahmasmi.
Brahmasmi.
So
Yes.
when we talk about Purusha, so the architecture of temple is nothing basically. It is a symbolism of human body.
Right.
When we see the architecture of South Indian temples, I have posted about it too. You can see the clear. You can see clearly the architecture of South Indian temples being connected to human body.
Yes.
And the South Indian temple architecture, there are five important points to consider when we talk about South Indian temple architecture. That a garbhagriha. The garbhagriha is a very important place, plays a very important role in Hindu temples. It is basically the innermost sanctum point where the idol of deity is kept, and apart from that, behind the idol of deity, a place is left knowingly, which shows the Adi Purusha, which shows nothingness. There is no decoration in that part of temple. There is no decoration because when we signify Adi Purusha, there is no material thing that we connect to Adi Purusha. That's why that area is kept hollow, no decoration, nothing. And moreover, after the Garbhagriha, there is a place. One deity is the main deity of the temple, and the other part, when we come forward from the Garbhagriha, there is another part for the other deities associated with that main particular deity. And after that, knowingly a place is left for cultural and social rituals, like the consecration of human birth, when we do mundans, functions like mundans, marriages, wedding ceremonies that took place in marriage. So it is kept in mind that these places are far from the place of worship, because these functions cannot take place near the place of worship, because the place of worship should be holy and the sacred. And what makes a place sacred? When we talk about why do we need temples in a society, I came through many friends of mine that say when God is omnipresent, what is the need of temples? But if God is omnipresent, let me ask you, if God is omnipresent, that means we can experience him or her everywhere. But are we able to experience him? Are we able to? No, we can't experience him everywhere because of the subtle level of his omnipresence. Because he is present everywhere, everyone knows that. But his subtle level of omnipresence is that we cannot experience him without the expertise in meditation. We are
Right.
not capable of experiencing him. So for
Right.
that purpose only, for that purpose of experiencing God, we need temples. Okay, as Vivekanand ji said in once, that we can feel air everybody, but to experience it, we need to turn the fan. So I'm a big fan of Vivekanand ji, and I quote this every time whenever someone says why you need temples when God is omnipresent. So this
Right.
is why we need temples. Hindu temples are other than a place of worship that we were talking, and three aspects of Hindu temples make them sacred. Like first of all is the construction, as we have told that the Agama Shastra, the Shatapatis, that are hereditary construction workers, they do construction of temples with proper knowledge of these scriptures, these agamic scriptures that we talk
Yeah.
about architecture when we talk about architecture. Secondly, consecration. The consecration takes place through a proper ritual, Kumbha Abhishekam.
Right.
Kumbha
Right.
Abhishekam is the consecration of the main idol of the deity when we talk about that. And it exists to various days. It exists to various days with proper rituals by proper priests. It takes place, Kumbha Abhishekam, we are talking about. And third is the daily ritual of puja, daily
Right.
ritual of praying. Third is this, the daily ritual of puja. Proper priests do proper puja in 3 times a day, 4 times a day, or say 1 time a day. They do
Right.
proper puja. These
Depending
three,
upon the deity.
sorry.
Depending upon the deity, the entire puja is planned and executed.
Right. So these three aspects make a temple sacred.
Yes.
When we enter the temple, whatever worries we are having in our mind, whatever we are thinking, whatever tensions, we all forget that, because the atmosphere of temple is like that. When we visit the Garbhagriha is not a normal place. Normal people cannot enter Garbhagriha. You have to
Right.
proper priest to enter Garbhagriha. It is a
Right.
very sacred place, and no ordinary people can enter Garbhagriha like that. Okay.
Right.
However, the atmosphere of temple, aside from Garbhagriha, is also very calming and suitable for a normal person to forget all his materialistic issues, everything. And when we are talking about architecture, let me also talk about the South Indian Dravidian architecture and
Yes.
Shikhara architecture of North India. There is a basically not much difference. The difference is when we talk about Dravidian architecture, the temple is, you know, it has a compound wall. The temple is inside a compound wall, and the compound wall has a gopuram. Gopuram is a entry gate, like an entry gate, which connects to the center garbhagriha.
Right.
That gopuram. When we talk about the Shikhara architecture, there is absence of such compound walls in North Indian architecture. Moreover, the Gopuram and the Dravidian architecture is like a pyramid shape, and the Shikhara architecture is basically a slope with proper flags in at the top,
Right.
and the flag in Shikhara architecture is on the top of the temple, whereas in
Yes.
South Indian temple there is a proper I don't know, Pali Pitham or Shakti. What do you say if you remember? There is a
There is,
pole, for that, for the flag.
okay.
Right,
Okay.
right. So in this is the difference between Shikhara and Dravidian architecture has been influenced a lot in these 2000 years. It has been evolved a lot from cave architecture. First of all, it was a cave architecture, rock cut temples. When we
Right.
see, we can divide it into 6 phases if we go deeper into Dravidian architecture. First
Okay.
of all, it was rock architecture that we called mantap. Mantap, that is called mantap architecture. Then it came to Ratha when the rock cut temples became more decorative. When
Yes.
more decoration came into being there, they were called Ratha. And after that, after that Ratha, there are several evolutions that took place from rock to rock cut temples to the temples like Mahabali, monolithic structures from shore temple to shore temple in Mahabalipuram. We can see a great deal of variation and evolution that took place in Dravidian architecture.
Yes.
So, right.
As the culture evolved, as the different emperors came into power with the help of respective sages at that time, they got
Mhm.
inspirations and they constructed such magnificent temples. So
Kingdoms,
art,
Kingdoms had a
yeah,
great influence in that, like Vijayanagar Empire, the architecture of Vijayanagara, the architecture of
yeah,
Chola, the architecture of Pandavas, the architecture
right.
of Chalukya. Like Chalukyas were associated with cave temples, and Vijayanagara temples were associated with the Gopurams. So we can see each kingdom has its own specialty in architecture.
Right, right. So cultural influence also got blended with the spiritual element, and that's how the temple architectures evolved over a period of time across
Yeah.
geography in the Indian subcontinent.
One
That's
thing,
that.
one thing special about Vijayanagar architecture was that they built secular monuments that weren't very common at that time. Like they built Lotus Mahal. Lotus Mahal wasn't at that time a monument meant temple or palace. Only that.
Okay,
And the
okay,
Lotus Mahal was a exception because it was like a secular place. At that time, there were no many major religions that exist today, like Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism. Three religions basically were there.
in the time of I mean, when Vijayanagar came into existence, already Islamic invasion already started in India. So, but only thing is they were restricted till the river, yeah. So till Tungabhadra, and they made attempts. All thanks to Queen, all thanks to the British Kingdom that started, exploring the geography. And at that point in time, Islam invasions got certain distractions, and it became important for them to. Anyways, I mean, so yeah,
Uh, Chola Empire. I curse the luck of Chola Empire because they didn't wanted to go north. If they
yes,
tried to go north, there would have been no Islamic invasion in India, and the
again,
country would have been safe in hands of Chola Empire. But
yes,
they were more attracted towards Southeast Asia,
right,
Chola
right,
Empire.
right.
The Chola Empire, the king, the Rajendra Chola, the second Rajendra Chola, the son of Raja Chola, He got the title of Gangai Chond Kolapur. I'm missing the name, Gangai Konda, something like that. This title was the winner of the land of Ganga. So he
Mhm.
won the land up to the banks of river Ganga. After
Right.
that, he shifted his attention towards Southeast
To
Asia.
Southeast Asia. Yes, yes. I mean, they built gigantic army that I mean naval force that could make all these expeditions possible. I mean, we'll also talk about that stuff.
Certainly, they had a good navy force. That's why they started their expedition to Southeast Asia. Sorry.
Southeast
Uh,
Asia.
al-
Yes.
Also, there is a one conspiracy theory that his father Rajendra Chola
Mm-hmm.
was killed by some lady from Sri Lanka. So to get a
Okay.
revenge, he attacked the Sri Lanka and the neighboring countries.
That's interesting. I mean, I never heard, though I'm not a history student,
No,
but
no one ever heard this. I just read this somewhere.
okay, okay, interesting. And so that this is how temples, came into existence, and they played an important role in shaping up the societal values over a period of time in the past more than 2,000 years.
Right.
We also find, I mean, as you rightly mentioned, Indian kings also. I mean, we find this Hindu temples in the Southeast Asia, in the countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia. So, would love to know that what is the significance of their, historic expeditions, and how did they uh, uh, consider this setting up establishments across oceans, and building cultural heritage. In short, it was all expanding the kingdom, right? So when you expand the kingdom, of course, you carry those values of your own dynasty
Mhm.
to the establishments you built over a period of time. So would love to know your thoughts. I mean, how could they make it possible, and what are the reasons? I mean, when you go there, religion, the element of religion is so strong that it holds an important role in the societal values. That's why I consider that for earlier question, the importance of societal values. So as when you go and you establish a new establishments or new territory, you capture new territory, you establish your religion symbols, right? So as rightly said, temples played, not just a place of worship, but temple also played an important role in different arenas. So would love to know your thoughts on temples in Southeast Asia.
So first of all, the influence of Hinduism, the Sanatan Dharma in Southeast Asia was not very, that happened during the Chola Empire, or say when we expanded the kingdoms expanded to Southeast Asia. That
Okay.
was not the time when the influence of Sanatan Dharma grew in Southeast Asia. That was much before that time period.
Mhm.
So it's quite debatable that how it got spread in Southeast Asia. One thing is that their merchants came to India because of the economical prosperity of India. So the merchants of South Asia came to India and bring back our culture to their country and propagated that there. One thing is that. Another is that our Brahmins, our merchants went there in Southeast Asia and or our say dharma or religion in Southeast Asia, and that's how it grew there. But as we see that the monarchy there, the in Southeast Asia, has been practicing Hinduism, has been practicing Sanatan Dharma from long back in time. The Angkor Wat temple, the biggest Hindu temple in Cambodia, Khmer dynasty. It was a Hindu temple, it was a Vaishnav temple, and as we see that the influence of Hinduism was greater in Southeast Asia from what is now. At current situation, there are 1% Hindus left in Indonesia, which was not the case when
When
Angkor Wat was existing, or say at the peak of Hinduism in Southeast Asia. So the
right.
thing is that Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma, the kings of belonging to Sanatan Dharma were not like Islamic invaders that when they expanded their territory, they will force their religion on them. it was not like that. The influence of Sanatan Dharma, it was gradual process. You can say through gradual immigration it took place. It
Mhm.
was through their merchants or our merchants. We can never know how this happened because there are no inscriptions. The thing is that it happened through gradual immigration. Which side
Okay.
we can specifically say that, but
Okay.
it is fixed that it did not happen due to the forced cultural chauvinism through the kings of India, the Chola Empire, forcing our culture and religion on them. It was not like that. That's for sure.
So that at that point in time, mostly these countries were must be ruled by some. I mean, must be governed by some local tribes or local people, and
Certainly, sir. There have
because
been
these are the
tribes.
places which had least resources, right, as compared to any other country. So it did not offer any economic advantage to any foreign country, be it Islamic kings or be it Portuguese or European kings, right? They had zero advantage, economic advantage per se, to go there and establish their colonies. However, as trade became important, they realized the importance. But till then, there was no such invasions in account of on account of economic activity per se, I believe.
There was no incentive to invade that land. Certainly,
Yes.
there was no incentive for Hindu kings to invade that land because we were prosperous in our land only. Why would we invade
Absolutely.
that land, which is foreign to us? We don't know nothing about that.
Right. Right.
So it must be through gradual immigration that our culture spread there.
Right.
And
Right.
at
Right.
certain
Because
point in time, our people only established a monarch there.
right.
Our people of the tribes there, though belonging to our culture only, they established
Mhm.
a monarchy there, which was Sri Vidya Empire, something like that, Sri Empire there, and
Yes.
that was the empire that Rajendra Chola attacked.
Yes. Yes. I mean, so over spread of I think 400 years or 600 years, Chola dynasty
Something like that.
uh, flourished in Southeast Asia. Yeah.
Right.
So basically, what I learned, like the Pallava kings, they pioneered constructing large stone cut temples using mortars, bricks, the things available at that point in time, and they engineered that point in time. And they also, interestingly, they built outstanding monolithic stone cut temples.
Mm-hmm.
So and basically, and on the other side, conceptualized and practiced by the Indus Valley civilization, the Chalukyas gave ornate stepwells. So outstanding stepwells being designed by the Chalukyas, right, and which gradually spread and learned by different culture and practice. So basically, solely it served the purpose of bathing rituals. So these are very broad things. This kind of empires or dynasties offered cultural heritage to the Indian subcontinent. So can you please share if one would love to, or if one wants to explore about this, such kind of monuments or historic monuments, where they will find such resources, what they should read about, or whom they should listen if they want, I'm
Okay.
in a very neutral manner, if want to really understand about Indian monuments, the history of Indian
When we,
monuments.
first of all, when we read about Indian history, ancient Indian history, back from 12th century CE, it's all
Hmm.
neutral. Nothing communal
Agree.
about that.
Right. No, I mean,
Right.
see, from communal perspective, what I mean to say, see, there are twisted facts, right? And in the era of, even if I do Google today for something, I'm bound to get some gyan by some person who might have made some video. The gyan exists today, but it has references way back hundreds of years back, right? So whom to trust? That is the first fundamental thing, that people have no idea and they keep on reading or listening stuff, right? Because we cannot stop people making documents, making blogs, making videos, writing books. But when it comes to authenticity, it is not easy to spot the right people, right?
If I'm getting it right, you are saying that to how to avoid the communist historians.
I would not say communist historian, because history has been greatly, manipulated, not just by communists, also by people who had their own vested interest in feeding inappropriate things. So I'll give an example. There are people who wanted to glorify, their kings in the countries like Portugal or in the countries like Spain. So obviously they wrote things which are suitable to their kings, which
Like exactly
glorify their kings, right?
the position of their kings.
Right. So thing is that if there is an element of something in the Hindu temple, and if they want to glorify something else, right, which is not even deteriorating the very idea of Hindu monuments, but still it is not giving the correct picture.
So Nalanda University has been the biggest loss in terms
Yes,
of our
agree.
our journey to history, our journey to Indian history.
Absolutely.
We would have been with the upper hand on our history that the Western historians tell
Yes,
us. We would have been
yes,
upper hand if we had the manuscripts that were present in Nalanda University that burned for
100% true.
6 months. When we talk about historians, as you said, one should give proper references. The biggest thing is that we should trust the inscriptions. In Indian history, we are very fortunate that our ancestors have been listing the all the activities that are taking place in that present time through inscribing them on rocks.
Yes,
So somewhere I read that lies are written on the books, but our truth is carved on rocks,
carved on the stones.
carved on stones and rocks. So the biggest thing is that we are very fortunate that we can identify what's truth and what's wrong, because our truth is carved on the rocks. So no one can deny that Raja Raja Chola built this, because
Yes,
he has written on the Brihadeshwar temple that I have built this. So
absolutely,
how can you ignore that fact? So
absolutely.
moreover, when we want to know the truth, one should be able to distinguish between the fabricated lies and the real facts about Indian history. One should be capable of that. If you aren't capable of identifying what's fabricated and what's truth, you are going to lose. You are on the
Right.
backside. You are going to be very unfortunately the history that we are reading is full of lies. In current syllabus in NCRT that we are reading is full of lies.
So
Right.
that's why I just wanted to know if you may share some references that, or some people even that one may consider to read these people or these books or these blogs. It would be helpful if you may share. I'll also post it on in the.
Srinivasan's book on Temple of South India, Temples of South India. If you are really into temples of South India, you
Okay,
should read K.R. Srinivasan's book of
okay,
Temple of South India. He's a very good author, and
okay,
if I will suggest to read a particular empire and its achievement. If you want to go into deep into studies, you should
right,
read Pallavas specifically. You should read
right,
Cholas specifically.
right,
There is no shortcut if you want to read deeply, and if you want to get a brief idea, then you can read any article on the Google if you want to get a brief idea. But I won't
right,
suggest that, because they won't tell you the details of the temple, because these temples are phenomenal, and they they have a lot of secrets. They have a lot of features that one cannot know in entirety. These temples
right,
are so vast and so divine.
right. I understand. I mean, we
Someone,
also
someone,
have amazing people who are sharing these comments, right? And
someone
we are seeing.
said that a 1200 old temple was found in Pakistan, but not much
Yes,
attention was given.
yes,
Attention was given because it was in the news, and it was a Vaishnav temple that was found there, and 1200-year temple. This is a very common. 1200-year temple is nothing.
is nothing. Is
It's,
nothing.
5,000 year old Shivlinga was found in South Africa.
Yes. So
How can
I
you
think, I mean,
how can you
we need
connect
not to
5,000
prove.
years?
I mean, as a Hindu heritage, it doesn't require to prove the world that
And
this
one thing,
society exists.
as you were saying about Southeast Asia, we were
Right.
mentioning the second millennium BC, first millennium BC, Chola
Mhm.
kingdom. right?
Yes,
But
yes.
2500-year-old Shivlingam, proper Shivlingam, was found in Indonesia. 2500-year-old. So how can we explain that? Explain that. How
Right.
can we explain that to current
Yes.
people?
Right, right. I really like this thought that rather than reading Indian monuments, one should read the dynasty, because dynasty itself is a society, and in this society monuments is a part of it, and all the societal values have been derived or been exhibited by such kind of monuments.
You
So
will know
that's
everything about Pallavas. When you will read about Pallavas, you will know what was their mindset.
absolutely,
What were they
absolutely.
thinking before building the temples? What were their thought on building temples? Why they built that? What was the society's condition that way? And when we
Right,
know about society, we will certainly know that what was the role of temple in that society. So everything
right.
will come to you if you will read about that entire system alone. And
True, true.
something more, but someone was commenting that why we are communicating in English when we are talking about ancient India. So in ancient India, Prakrit was the language. So should we communicate in Prakrit? Should we?
It's not about, I would say it is not about language. The thing is, if we do not talk about English, possibly my idea is, you need the ultimate thought of communicating in English is to spread your thinking to the
Certainly.
mass that understand your language. If we talk about in Sanskrit or Hindi, we will have very extremely limited reach, right? And I respect lots of people are putting variety of efforts writing in even vernacular languages, right? So there are people whom people can follow, but if you want to convey the idea to a global landscape, definitely today we need to communicate in English. As we grow, even people would may consider learning
Sir,
Sanskrit. A lot of people are learning already in Europe and USA, right?
that's
So
why
yeah,
I use
respect.
English in my post. Many people ask me why you are not using Hindi. But when we are talking about Sanatan Dharma, technically we should use Sanskrit. But are you capable
Yes,
of understanding Sanskrit? No, you aren't.
right,
The
right,
thing is 40% population of India is currently communicating in Hindi.
right,
Currently speaking in Hindi, 40% of population. What about
right,
60% population?
right,
They aren't going to understand a single word what I'm saying. A Tamilian will
true,
not understand what I'm saying. But a
absolutely,
Hindi speaking person, but a Tamil speaking person, all will understand English. It is a
right.
one common language that we should use in communicating to spread our, our thinking, but we our opinions, what we are wanting to portray ourselves, our culture.
Right. True, true. So yeah, Ankit, this was really insightful things. So coming back to the fundamental of the subject, the Indian monuments. So if monuments like even if somebody will Google about Indian monuments, the first two will be shown as Taj Mahal and Qutub Minar. Now thing is, we don't have any issue if somebody has made something really beautiful or something good. The problem comes when people do not go deeper, right? So I would love to know your thoughts that if somebody really wants to explore Indian monuments, what are such kind of lesser known but magnificent monuments are there that they should consider visiting them?
Sir, as you mentioned that when we talk about monuments, Taj Mahal and Qutub Minar is shown to us on Google. There is a huge discrimination on Hindu temples or say Hindu architecture when we talk about UNESCO World Heritage sites. We all know about UNESCO World Heritage site. A
Yes,
wine a wine farm is declared a UNESCO World Heritage site, but the Jambukeshwar temple, which is 1200 years old, with magnificent halls, magnificent pillars. Everything about it is a marvel. You know, in everything, in every aspect, it is a marvel, and it
right.
isn't considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this is where the hypocrisy and the discrimination which we are talking about exists. And
But Ankit, so what I feel that there might, of course, if these are the scenarios, there might be some kind of differences in giving due weightage to the facts, right? I
Mhm,
also feel that we are also lacking representation. So
mhm.
I was just reading somewhere that before current government, Indian government used to give uh, memento to the foreign dignitaries, right? That gift was basically a symbol of Taj Mahal, right? Now, and now it has been changed and it has been replaced by different elements of that belongs to the Indian subcontinent, including Bhagavad Gita. Right now, thing is that when people do not talk about it, when people do not represent it to the international forum, right, and just people keep on expecting the world to accept Hindu culture, it becomes difficult. However, lots of people like I again quote Nilesh ji only because I read him and I listened him to some extent because he has presented his papers in Oxford. Now, thing is, after representing your paper or your research to world's leading academic institutions, right? People may reject it. People may not consider it. But the fundamental fallacy would be not to represent it, right? Until we represent, the world will not consider it anyways, right? So, as far as representation of such kind of things are concerned, weights a lot. So, like as you are sharing through your Instagram handle, there are people who are, right, you shared about Srinivasanji who has written books on it, right? Point comes that having all this knowledge with us, until it goes to the most appropriate forum or most appropriate institution, right, that talks about it, that thinks about it, that writes about it, that declares about it, it will not come into existence, because it took this government to make World Yoga Day. Until then, yoga was well practiced, but nobody ever considered, right? Even it took government to make it into existence, to bring it to the existence, right? The question remains same, that what are these monuments people should consider to visit them?
There are a lot of monuments, sir, like when we visit.
You can share at least 5 or 10. At least people can remember. See, what happens generally when we talk a lot, people may not be able to give due weightage which one to consider first, right?
I will tell in a way that they will remember. Okay.
Absolutely, that would be awesome. Yes.
Coming through Karnataka, the first place should be Hampi.
Hampi, yes.
A place you can visit to experience the ancient architecture, the ancient India, how the Vijayanagar Empire prospered. I mean, the Hampi was, considered to be exactly the same as the ancient Rome. It was so magnificent. After Hampi, you can visit Hoysala temples in Belavadi. Hoysala temples that are also a part of Karnataka. They are also part of Karnataka. Hoysala temples. There are a number of Hoysala temples. One is in Belavadi. Another one is in Belur. Another one is in Belur. There are 3 Hoysala temples. Hoysala architecture is one of the best architectures that I have been through. I mean, I love the Hoysala architecture. It's the best architecture according to me. Every architecture has its own pros and cons, but
we like something.
Yes, my personal favorite is Hoysala architecture. Okay, yes. As Tiruniru said, Hoysala architecture must for its intricate works. Right. So
thank you, Tiruniru.
Yes, sir. After these, when we go through Kerala, Padmanabhaswamy.
Yes.
Padmanabhaswamy temple, a must visit temple, Padmanabhaswamy. Then in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is a place you can visit every district, every village, every city, and you will find a big temple there with so many features at the Gopuram, so many carvings. I visited this year. I visited Pondicherry, Chennai. Sorry, I visited Chennai and a least visited temple. You know, in a normal village, a common village, not so connected to urban areas or a not so crowded place. And the temple was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. The temple's architecture. I have posted the pictures. I visited Salem, and in Salem district, I visited the 108 Linga temple, and it's built on a mountain. It builds on a mountain, and you can walk on a road with both sides covered with Shivlingam. Famous circuits in Tamil Nadu, Panchabhuta temples for Shiva. Thiru Bhaiya certainly knows better than me when it comes to Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, so when it comes to Tamil Nadu temples, I think Thiru can talk a lot about those
A
things.
lot.
Wish to, engage.
Those of you who are watching, you should visit Thiru Bhaiya's account, and he has a lot of amazing pictures of Tamil Nadu temples. Every temple, mostly, I don't know which temple he has left. He has listed most of the temples,
In
posted
fact, many a
every
times I
detail of these
think, many
temples.
times I think that what is next, because he has covered such a depth and width of the world of temples in and around Tamil Nadu. I mean, greatly, highly respectful, sir.
Certainly. He has visited temples from Nepal to Tamil Nadu, every corner of the India. I adore him personally. I adore him.
Yes.
And I also feel jealous of him because I have not been given this responsibility, this opportunity of traveling. I have not got this opportunity of traveling like him. He is very blessed to visit all these temples.
See, this here comes a very important perspective, right? We in the most interesting aspect that we feel that those who are creators, we feel those who have really solid passion to pursue something, that right, they people need some kind of support. And if you are a fan of this kind of awesome creators or bright focused minds, right, we wish you to consider contributing them. You may contribute them monetary. That's the best thing people can do, because just imagine that if a person visits to a temple and does some worship to the temple, visits the temple, takes some help of local guide, learns about a temple and writes about it, this is one process. Versus a bright focused mind visits a temple, learns about it and posts to the world, has a different perspective. That mind can share far more than anything else. So guys, we wish we wish you may consider to contribute and support Ankit ji. His link to receive contribution has been given in his profile on Instagram. He posts this link in all of his posts as well, so you may consider to contribute him there. And we wish that the support from fans and followers may help you in deepening your knowledge, deepening your reach, deepening your understanding, and you may post best of the things, you share your research, bring
So far, people have been very kind in contributing to me.
absolutely. I really appreciate that. Lots of people have contributed to your efforts, and we really respect that. We really feel great. We are humbled that people are taking these things in their truest spirit. And yeah, at least looking at efforts of Ankit ji, I can assure that's really well considered.
It's all
Ankit
with your
ji,
support. I just remember when you called me first time and when you elaborated all the idea about this contribution thing. We
right.
were unsure that if we will get one or two contribution or not, but it has been
Yes.
turned out very good.
Very good. Yes, yes.
Right.
We feel that it was an effort, and out of this we are not attempting to make any business out of this contribution. So in the true spirit to support the creators only. So yeah, Ankit ji, we have got a few points
Thank you.
that your views on debate going on Ramasetu, and second, if you can discuss on Mansarovar Lake and Kailash Mountain. So I think these are the topics that can take hours, and of course I'm not I do not consider myself a competent guide to engage into these discussions, but yes, if may consider, no, Ankit, you have at least you can give the direction, at least you can share your perspective. See, lots of time people may not require a vehicle to get you to the end, and that's why we have milestones, right? So people need milestones, people need signs and symbols, right? So and that's what exactly we are doing.
About Ram Setu has been. I have posted a video too about Ram Setu, about how it is nothing mythical about it. It is purely based on facts that how it was created by someone from ancient India. It is not a natural phenomena. Ram Setu is not a natural phenomena. It is man-made. It has been proved
Right.
over time by many scientists from all over the world. and you can find many documentaries, many research papers about that, and I
True.
have also posted about it. And about Mansarovar and Kailasha, we are very unfortunate that we cannot visit that place without the visa of China. We are very unfortunate in that, and we can just blame our you know our political regime over those years of independence for that. Otherwise,
True.
we should not comment on this.
Right.
Hmm.
Uh, I think if Tiruniru may share a list of such temples, PeerSpot and Ankitji both would love to consider posting the list of such monuments. People may consider to visit them.
When you will be posting this live session on your IGTV, in caption
Yeah.
you can mention those temples, and I'm sure Tirunirubia will give me those temples.
Yes. Yes. Ankitji, thank you so much. I mean, we planned this session for half an hour and it continued, and we are stretching it more than hour. Yes. Ankitji, it has been, really awesome. And
It has been my honor to share the
yeah, thank
screen.
you so much for engaging with us, sharing your thoughts, valuable insights. We feel that people have enjoyed this. If you may feel, see, let us understand if a conversation or this kind of conversation can help you in understanding or giving perspective on Indian monuments. Ankit ji is a hidden treasure. So having one-on-one conversation with Ankit ji can build this experience multifold. So you may consider to meet Ankit ji on PeerSpot. Already that option is given on the same page. Guys, if you really like PeerSpot's this conversation, you may subscribe our YouTube channel. We'll also post the same video on YouTube. You may consider to sign up on PeerSpot, share your thoughts to all those creators, right, on Instagram, who are making something awesome in their respective fields in their truest spirit, right? Be it Indian classical music, Indian classical dance, any handicraft things, any research work. You may consider to visit the option of having a contribution account. That's how we help people to receive contribution from their fans and followers, and this kind of contribution is meant to support you. So thank you so much, Ankit ji, and thank you so much all these amazing people who have joined us. Thank you so much, Abhay, Thiru, Niru, and such many guys. I'm sorry, I do not remember all of them who have joined and engaged into such kind of conversation. Thank you, Ankit ji, once again. We bring to end to this conversation. We really respect your time and great. Thank you.